Hey, yo, I'm hearing some feedback, just a little. Hey guys, welcome, welcome to one guys and girl, actually, because my wife's always listening to me, and I mean, of course, there should be other girls out there that listen to it, hopefully, right? So hey everyone, um, so let me share my screen. All right. So, welcome to one more live stream during the week. Uh, so, as for today's live stream, the plan is to implement what Eric Meadows Johnson suggested. Here on the PR, I've been working on my last 2 or 3 lives. Um, yeah, I guess I, I'm actually just going to start by doing something I do regularly, like kind of every day, because Eduardo Borsa, who's out there, uh, thanks Eduardo for joining me today. He asked me personally, he's a personal friend, and he asked me if I could like go give an intro on how to actually contribute to open source and how to get involved, you know. So I'm going to just show you how I do that a little bit in the beginning of this live stream. So there's mainly nowadays it changed a lot since I started. So nowadays what I do is I keep track of Elixir forum. I just basically I read most of the posts here, and those that I do not interested I just don't care. But I read most of the posts here, and sometimes I do answer some questions because contributing is not just about coding, you know. It's about also helping others to find solutions. And sometimes the things that other people are asking here in the forum, you already fixed. And also sometimes you learn a lot by just reading what other people like Elixir so it's not exiting in the task on timeout, for example. This one I got interested. I know that I got interested because it is a bit strange what the guy is saying here, and I read uh, so yeah, I go here and read a lot, you know. Uh, and but this is kind of a background job. The most important thing that I do that actually has direct impact to open source has to do with GitHub. Basically, for all projects that I think I would at least once in a lifetime like to contribute, I go to it and mark it as watched all activity here on GitHub. So basically, everything that gets told in here in these projects, it's going to be posted to your notifications. So I follow quite a lot of projects actually. I probably need to do a review on those because some of them I don't even care too much anymore. But yeah, I get this huge amount of notifications every day, and I go through each of them. Sometimes I just say, hey, I'm not as interested in that. Like for example, Bum Nokogiri, no, not interested. It doesn't matter actually. It's just bumping a dependency version, and it's probably automated thing. So here there was like this guy created this issue and it was closed, which means I read this issue actually when he opened it. He suggested a change from this to this, for example. Hey, Toddy, thanks for watching again. I remember you from last live stream. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm just explaining how I normally contribute, but basically, yeah, I go through my GitHub notifications because I watch every single repository I like. So yeah, um, what else? Then I mark as done every time it's okay for me. There's like this huge PR that's going on for Steel, which is a project that I got interested. So sometimes I do review the code, sometimes I don't have time for it, and I just decide, hey, this is not a pull request I'm interested. So yeah, I just mark as done. I would start by doing that and just actually just uh, reviewing everything, reviewing everything, every activity that gets through it, so you start to get used to the project that you want to contribute to. But once you get like confident about, hey, I know more or less how this works, maybe then, if there's no new issue that's coming up, you can go to the issue list. For example, the Elixir core, you just go to the issues list here, issues, not code, and check what do they have like open that's kind of uh, good to, like, you think you could handle, right? So in the Elixir core, they have this. All right, first thing you should check is if it's not assigned to anyone, because if it's assigned to someone, it totally means, hey, this person is doing it already. Second thing, you should check if it's not like a discussion, because if it's a discussion, you probably will not be able to work on it, right? They're still discussing what should be done, but you could actually participate in the discussion, because that's what I did here. So you could participate in these kind of discussions, and also review pull requests too, like this pull request, for example. Let's see. So update code module doc to mention relevant Erlang functions. So yeah, he added some more documentation. Right? The three functions above will work. Which three functions? All right, require file, compile file, eval file. So these three functions will work with Elixir source. If you want to load a compile file, typically found below the build directory and mix project with the extension beam. CD Erlang functions, code load file and code load binary. So yeah, it's just adding more relevant information to the code module. And if you have something to add, for example, just get here and say, hey, I don't agree with this. And yeah, once you get to hey, this is a feature I want to do, you just fork the repository. Here I have already forked the Elixir. That you fork the repository, download the code, and get to it. So that's what I do. Yeah, Eduardo. Improving documentation is always good. I'm almost sure every library maintainer wants better documentation for their libraries, and documenting is not really fun for the person that wrote the thing, because they're kind of writing it again, right? So yeah. Yeah, let's go then to what actually is the topic of this talk, which is not talk, live stream, which is my last, oops, I joined me, my last live stream, basically. So I opened this pull request to add this Mixhack sponsor tip to run this Mixhack sponsor when someone adds or upgrades a package. So this message is going to be shown when you do deps.get, and any of your dependencies like that got downloaded, any of those have the sponsor link there. On the previous 2 live streams. I worked on that. The first one I did implement, the first version of it. The second one I tried to write tests for it, and I realized that my implementation was not good enough. Like it was actually not working for every case. So I sent this comment explaining what was happening, and one suggested solution for it. And then Eric Meadows Johnson, which is Hex creator, I think he's, yeah, he is the creator of Hex. So he answered me that maybe my solution, although it's prettier, it's not worth it, because it will also probably include backwards incompatible things, and then we will have to wait for a new mix release, probably just a future version, not even 1.13. So his idea was to use this hex state thing. My idea was to use, like, to change the way mix and hex work together. So, hey Dudu, good afternoon to you too. Thanks for joining us again. So, yeah, let's see then. Let's first do what Jose Valim said here. He just said, hey, instead of this message, print this one, which I also agree it's better because it's shorter. And yeah, let's do it. I already have the code downloaded because of the last live streams, right? And this is not the code. This is the code. What I'm going to do here is search up remote converger. I'm going to go to line 242. And this is actually the message. I think I can do it like this. Problem then is that hex, oops. I'm using, yeah, FZF, and well, it's been good overall. Let me show you my dot files. I'm going to have to developers secret dot files. I'm not showing my secrets, just the public ones. And ts dot. So my Vim plugins are in here. The FZF, I install both plugins here. Not sure why. I think this is just like support functions. And yeah, I'm using COC too. Right. But yeah, the FZF for try completions, and I have like this configuration here, so I can do a lot of stuff. You can do a lot of stuff with FZF. Like for example, you want to check the list of commits, you can go z commit, and here you are. You can search for a commit like spawn and IX, and you can search here. It's pretty cool. I liked it a lot, really a lot. The only thing I don't like it too much is that if you have like really a lot of files, then it's going to be a little bit buggy when you hit when you open the list of files. You can see a little bit when redrawing, the lines get really fuzzy, but I don't mind that much about it. One thing I really like are these two commands. The here you can check for commands that you can execute, for example help, right? So you can search for stuff here, and then it's going to get pasted as your command. And also does maps one, for example, you can check for mappings. For example, sometimes I just forget what was the mapping for fugitive G, you know, the G one, and here you can see, oh, here is the /gs, or you don't even remember what it is that it gets executed when you hit, for example, M and something. So here's the M bang executes this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. What else? Yeah, I guess this is, and COC, Eduardo Borsa, I kind of am starting to use it now, so I don't have it very well configured, and I some stuff are just being a little bit messed up frequently, but I don't mind having it messing up for a while. But I might switch that off sometime. I don't know, I'm not sure. So I'm just breaking that line here because it was too long. And that's it for the change that Jose Valim asked for. So I'm going to commit it. Yeah. Changing the message, the tip message, Jose Valim's suggestion. Let me push that and mark it as resolved. And the next thing then will be the thing that Eric MJ said. So his idea is basically to save something on this hex state. In the last live I watched, you were trying to find the right place to do the change. Did you find it? I kind of did, yeah. I did find it, and I did one, and it was not the right one. Then I found another way to do it, right? So the right place to put the message is on this post converge thing, because it should be the message should be shown after downloading the packages, and the place I initially put it was trying to print the message before downloading the packages, and that's why it was not working as expected. So it has to be on post converge here. The problem then is that to show only the ones that were added or upgraded, I would need more information on this post converge. This is the post converge function, and it is a callback that is called by Elixir itself, like Mix calls it, and post converge. So it calls this function out here. We'll call the converge from hex, this converge one, right? Which is the place that I did put initially, and then the result of the converge would be a new log file, which is like this file that says, hey, these are the libraries, that the packages that you depend on, and these are the versions that you should download, right? So then Mix itself is going to call another module that's going to download them, which is this unpacking one, which is this SCM one. This is the module that downloads the packages. So the unpack here is going to unpack the tarball that gets downloaded, and that's the place that gets downloaded. Then it's calling post converge, right? So my suggestion, my initial suggestion when I realized the place I did put everything was not the right place and it should be on post converge, I said, hey, what about showing the tip every time you download a package that has a sponsor link, right? So every time you have, if you have a dependency on your dependencies list that has a sponsor link, we're gonna print that message like, hey, you could sponsor this, right? And but then because then I'll not need to send more information on this post converge. Like I'll not need any more information on this post converge thing here, right? And yeah, the problem then is I think they really don't want to show that much messages when you run deps.get, right? Because it's already cluttered, that there's already a lot of info there, and they want to keep it simple, right? So Eric suggested that instead of doing that, what about just saving the state, like on this process, because this hex state is probably a process. It's probably a gen server or something like that, right? It starts, if it has a start link, so it means it's probably a process. We have a behavior or behavior, nope. Application. Yeah, it is a worker, as you see. That's is started every time you start the hex project, and in here there, like, oh right, it is an agent. It's an agent, which is basically a gen server that which is basically a gen server, and agent is just like this module to get easy to manage state from that gen server in a easier way, basically. So you don't have to re-implement a lot of stuff to save and like to update and get the keys that you saved on the agent. So yeah, the update, fetch source. All right, put. So yeah, you call put and you put the key and value, and you just call fetch to actually fetch the, let me see, hex dot state dot fetch. Yeah, I see. So it's used kind of everywhere, I guess. So yeah, let's do what he says. This is the place, hex SCM, and the place I did. I'm going to. Can you see everything, or is it too small for you right now? Because I want to split my screen, because then I can work with two files at the same time. Right, and the message here, any a little bit bigger. Okay, everything for you guys. So any, so what I'm going to move is basically I'm going to move this check to this place that he said 165 here. So after unpacking, I'm going to check, oops, I'm going to check if it's ties a sponsor. check it as a sponsor link, right? And then save it, save a flag on hex state. Right, and then in here I'm going to check the flag and print it. So let me just put this at to do, right? To do. All right, first things first, let's move the check there. This is it, this is the check, like this is the code that actually gets the link. And the place we're going to put is the dest here. The deps path is the dest, right? Oh, someone raiding the party with 119 people? Really? Oh, thank you, DV. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you everyone. So, hey, are you guys programmers too, or just randomly got here? We were doing some open source contribution. Yeah, programmers. Yeah, cool guys, cool. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. I guess that's the first time I get so many people watching the lives. Really, thank you. So yeah, today we're contributing to the Hex package manager, guys. So this is a contribution that I already done on my past. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Tesh. I'm not sure where do you know me from, but yeah, really, it really helps me to get out there. So yeah, I did these contributions on my last live streams, and the creator of the package manager answered me with like this comment here that I could implement it in another way because I was having trouble to actually test it, and mostly because my implementation was wrong, not because my test was wrong. It's the package manager for the Elixir language. This is the package manager. So Hex. So yeah, I do contributions for Elixir packages and other stuff for a while now. But yeah, this is I think this is my first one to Hex itself, to the package manager. I did some contribution to Elixir Core back in the day, one of my previous live streams also. But yeah, this one is pretty basic actually. The feature it's just showing a tip that you could run like this mix hex sponsor task when you download a new library that has the sponsor link. Like this mix hex sponsor task is this one. Let me show you. This is the task. It just shows you the list of dependencies that you have and the links to how to contribute to those, like to fund them. And what I'm doing is on the mix deps.get, which is the task that downloads every dependency, pretty much like npm install, for example. It's going to download all the dependencies, and if any dependency is added or upgraded, like any new dependency is downloaded that has the sponsor link, I'm going to show this message here. Not this one specifically because they asked me to reward it, but yeah, anyways, you got it, right? So yeah, let's get back to it then. So where am I? I think the name of the package is already name, right? Strange ops hex. Okay. Turbo URL. Let me check the turbo URL. Yeah, it is the name. So name is the name of the package here, and dest here is the destination where it's going to be unpacked. So I'm guessing it is oh, it actually, hey, let me read. If you say I have the dep or library X with specific version and sublib has X with another version, how do you handle conflicts? You download both versions like node modules, or there's another mechanism of resolution? There's another mechanism for Elixir, because you can't have two versions of the same library on your deps list. It's totally different than npm, because basically the deps gets downloaded to this. Let me show you on my other project here. The deps here, they get downloaded to this deps folder, and the name of the folders, as you can see, is basically just the name of the yeah, no problem, I can explain, sure. The name of the folder here, as you can see, is the name of the library, and not the name and the version, how it normally is for npm. And you would have also problems, because then when you compile, because it's a compiled language, it compiles to the Erlang virtual machine. So when you compile the first decimal library, it's going to compile a lot of modules with the name decimal dot something, for example. And then if you had another version of it, you'd kind of subscribe you kind of override the previous compiled versions of the modules. So you can't have the two versions. So yeah, the thing here I'm doing here is not related to that. It's just a nice tip to say, hey, you can sponsor these packages that you're downloading. So the dest here, it doesn't look like the place that I want, because here you can see it's removing the dest. So I'm guessing it's actually removing the subfolder, like the package folder. What I need is the deps path. Let me check the sponsor link here. Because, oops, sponsor, this module was created by me, I guess, right? Yeah, it was created by me on the last live stream. And what I can do is to have another get link package path. That does that. Actually, let's refactor it, right? So the package, I get the package path, read metadata, package path. Here, package path, oops. And for this get link version, what I'm going to do is call get link, the one that I implemented now, with path.join deps path and package name, right? So yeah, I think this is what I actually, better yet, let's rewrite it as a pipeline. Cool. So yeah, also this one can be rewritten. Oops, I think I don't need it to be another a list anymore. So if you guys have any question, really, just tell me. I'm getting into productivity mode now here. Right, so the get link with just one argument is gonna take the package path, so I don't actually need to send a name. I just send the dest and it's going to say, hey, here's the link for it. So if there's any link, so if it's different than new, then we're going to save the flag on hex state saying, hey, there is one of the dependencies that you downloaded. It is a sponsored one, right? So hex.state.put. What I'm going to put is naming is hard, like has downloaded unpacked sponsored unpacked sponsored is okay, right? True. Right, so in here that's all we have to do to check if the destination there, the file there, the metadata there has any sponsor link. And then on the remote converger, hey Onion, how do you call bash shell commands for Elixir? Do they fork or how does this work? Well, I didn't work that much with that, but I know that calling, you can of course call it like this, if I'm not mistaken, system.cmd or something like that. Is it cmd? Let me show. This is the documentation for everything. Yeah, so here, this is a way to do it. And yeah, I don't know how that's implemented. Let me see. Elixir lang, Elixir system.cmd is probably, oh, system. You hear that beeps? What is that? Not sure. I think it's a neighbor somewhere. All right. So system cmd, yeah, this is the implementation for it, and it looks like it's called executable, right? Yeah, it spawns another, oh, uses ports. So yeah, ports. Let me show you the documentation online. In here you can search for anything, like this is the documentation for the Elixir kernel and the core stuff. So in here you can call system.cmd, for example. That's the documentation for that. And the port, for example, here. This is the port module. So the port, it has functions for interacting with the external world through ports. So ports provide a mechanism to start operation system processes external to the Erlang VM and communicate with them. So you basically spawn this process on your operational system, and you can send messages to this process over the I/O, and you're gonna receive messages from these processes that is going to be the output of this command, you know. So that's a way to interact with live processes on the operational system. It's pretty cool. Never used it, but it's, yeah, it's basically a sub process actor from Erlang side. Yeah. that's the way you work with other operational system processes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Never used it, but it's pretty cool. Like, and the cool thing is that it does that for it's I mean, you can implement this within a library, for example, and kind of do a wrapper for this thing, and you don't have to care too much about this inner workings, you know. Yeah, strings are Unicode by default, not mutable. They are immutable. Every data is immutable on Elixir. The data, but you can reassign variables. So you can rebind the names for the variables, not like in Erlang. Once you say a equals 1, it means a is going to be always equals 1 in this context, right? In Elixir, you can do a equals 1 and right after say a equals 2, because it's going to just reassign the variable and not reset the value. So this, for example, is going to work, right? So if you say a equals 1, b equals a, and a equals 2, you're going to see that a is 2, but b is still 1, right? That's not sure if you got what I mean, but yeah. Yeah, FP languages normally work like that. Like, actually some of them don't allow reassigning, but yeah. All right, so this is not needed anymore. Back to the work. And on post converge here, I'm going to just check if hex.state.fetch what's the name of a impact sponsored? So yeah, tell me, are you Ruby programmers, JavaScript programmers out there, or just random languages all around? I'm curious, where did you come from actually to get here? How many of you out there? 38, that's a lot of people. Oh, yeah, Dado, Eduardo Borsa, I know you. Yeah, Elixir, cool. Haskell. I want to learn Haskell. I mean, I just looked over it and I know it has a very nice typing system and cool, cool. So JS starting with Elixir. Cool, Toddy. Oh, cool. So you used Erlang. Cool. Yeah, as I said, Elixir compiles to the Erlang virtual machine. So a lot of the concepts are kind of the same, right? So you can map like kind of one-to-one. The thing that I guess it's most different on Elixir, the tooling is very different. Like it's totally different. What else that is very different? Maybe macros, of course. We have macros, pretty much like Lisp macros that you can alter the AST during compile time, for example. So yeah, that's very different from Erlang. They don't have that there, I guess. But the inner workings are the same: processes that execute functions that transform data. Basically, that's it. And also, basically, that's it for my contribution. But I'm going to test that. I already actually have the test: remote convert, no, mixed task test. This one is the test that I implemented last time, right? So I'm going to just execute it. All right, actually, I'm going to match for the message because I changed the message and I didn't change the check here. I don't like too much the way to break lines, but hey, that's okay. All right, I guess I can execute this. Fingers crossed. Oh, you forgot everything? Yeah, 2005, it's a long time ago, right? It's almost 15 years. So, some people say it's like riding a bicycle, you never forget. But I mean, by about that time, 2008, I was starting programming, and yeah, I started with Delphi. Not sure if much of you actually saw that, but yeah, it's not Objective, Object Pascal, and yeah, I don't remember much of that too. Why you can't just make multi-line string like in Ruby? You can actually, you can. The thing is, a multi-line string is like this, right? But the thing is, every new line here inserts like oops, slash n here, right? It's going to insert a slash n here, including this one. So if I do this, including this one, I then have to trim this to exclude that last one, because then otherwise on the deps.get there, oops, coins here, on the message there, where is it? Otherwise this message that's not here anymore, like otherwise this message would have like another line break here, right? So there will be another line break, and then all dependencies are up to date. So I didn't want that, that's why I just used it like so, like using the concatenation operator there. And the test did not mess because there was a compilation error, but I fixed the compilation error, and let's retry. Oh, 98. I was 6 years old. Sorry, didn't mean to say that you're old, but yeah. Pascal and Delphi. Don't know anything about Pascal at all, except begin end. Yeah, begin end is... Oh, you started really early. Yeah, you're just 5 years older than me. Cool, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, and I thought... All right. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, not many people started at the age of 8. So okay, test princess sponsor tip when no match for right hand side value. Okay. What? What? SCM. Oh, right. It's because I actually altered the result of a function here. Probably. Right? So maybe instead of doing it here, I should be doing it outside here. So if tarball checksum is matched, checksum, right? If it went through the checksum, it gets the builds, and it oh, in code manifest, right? I actually need to check that after this line. because this is the line that actually write the file that I'm reading. So again, the test got an error. It started when was yeah, cool. ZX Spectrum Net, never heard about it. My first experiences with programming were around, I guess, 2003 or 4 with the I guess it was called the RPG Maker 2000 or XP, that you could add scripts for it in Ruby. So uh, I didn't learn Ruby by then though. I saw that, hey, this is cool. It looks like this is what makes stuff actually work on this whole RPG makers thing. But then I never got to actually program it until 2005 or 6, I guess, because I was 12 or 13 the first time I started learning programming. It was PHP, by the way. Not proud of it, but it never paid my bills though, because it was just like my dad said, "Hey, this looks like a nice thing. You're gonna earn a lot of money in the future with this, so learn it, please, and pay me after." Just kidding. Never got to pay my dad for my work. But I'm very grateful that he did put me on programming classes because I really like it. Starting to learn Rummy March this year, so just for code golf. Never heard that term, code golf. But yeah, Ruby is pretty nice. I worked with Ruby for 5 years and I love it. I worked with Ruby before Elixir. I just changed to Elixir because yes, I wanted to. But yeah, it reminded me a lot about Ruby. As you can see, like the syntax is pretty close to it. Do ends, and you can call functions without passing the parents there. A lot of similarities to Ruby. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Impractical for anything except e-commerce sites and shell routine. I mean, I saw it applied to other places. I mean, Basecamp, the guys that created Rails, they use it to nowadays. So I think it's okay. You have some drawbacks, of course. Like it's not the most performant language. Working with multiple threads. I'm not sure if they implemented it recently, but it was just impossible before. So, and it kind of gets expensive pretty quickly, basically, right? So you write, you can be very productive with Rails and Ruby and get something out there really quickly, but as soon as you start to hit 1,000 or a little bit more, maybe requests per minute, you're going to have to pay more or rely a lot on caching. And there's two hard things in the world: naming and cache invalidation. So, and right, so lead code, binary search problems between JS, Ruby, Python, Ruby 3, usually wins by execution time. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I mean, of course you can write good code on any language, almost any language, except JS. Sorry, sorry for those of you that use JS and love it. I don't. No, I mean, you can write good code on JS. I'm just kidding. I'm just not really a friend of the language anymore. Let's try to execute the test again. But it was really nice, the gank that you guys did. They gave me some. Oh, it passed. It did pass. Cool. So I guess that's it, right? I say basically let's see the changes, right? On the remote converger, let me see the changes on the other place first. This is the old implementation, by the way, right? It was going on the remote converger, it was getting the dep changes, like all the changes for dependencies for every new and upgraded dependencies. We were going through them and checking if any of those had the sponsor link. If any of those had, then we printed this message. And this was not working because I was basically checking it too early. I didn't have all the information downloaded for these dependencies yet to actually know if they have or don't have the sponsor link. And then I moved this logic to two places basically. The place that actually check if the dependency, any of the dependencies have the link, is this place, the SCM, which is in here, right? The function is called def update from hex SCM. This update function is the function that downloads the dependencies, right? So after downloading, checking the checksum, doing a lot of stuff and saving the manifest, because that's the file that contains the information that I want. I read that file. Oh, wait. I don't actually need to read the file because I have the content here. Yeah, this is the content. Oops. So if this is the file content, I can go straight to the point and check it there. Let me just commit this thing first, right? Right, this is the place now that checks the link, and I changed it a little bit here because I now can give the package path straight instead of building it from the deps and package name. All right, and the test got a little bit of a rewrite because the message changed. And all right, so just compare sum map int string versus string char sum to e. Ruby is more clear as for me than Python. Yeah, I do agree with you. Does Elixir have 2i or 2s like functions? Yeah, it has kernel to string or string to integer. For example, are there many modules like integer module that can do integer to string? Yeah, the people are answering you there. It's pretty interesting. There's also this operator, like for the thing that you had there, like you had this int equals 1. What else? Oh, right, string char sum. Yeah, all right. Yeah, the Ruby code that you shared there, it looks more like Elixir because you have a string that you want to map it to like a list of characters and then sum the list of characters like this. You have the string 1 2 3 4 5, right? So you want to get all the characters for that. So string dot Let me see, to char list. No, not to char list, because then it's going to, let me see, graphemes, I guess. Graphemes. So then you want to go through them and sum. Is there sum? Yeah. You want to go through them and do a string dot to integer, right? And then finally you go and enum dot sum. So yeah, 15. That's it. That's how you do that. That's a easier way to do it probably, but yeah. As you can see, it has like this very... Hey Eduardo, thanks, really, thanks so much for joining us today, Eduardo. I'm always here, not always, like once a week. So it's not necessary. You can do import string, and then instead of using string, like all the functions implemented inside the module string are available to use like this, you know. So yeah, but importing is not very common. Like people in Elixir, people prefer explicitness, so they... Hey Ungaro, valeu cara, thanks so much. Yeah, Igaro, now I got it. It's Igaro, not one Garo. Yeah, people just like to type, not like in Ruby. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, Rubies love magic, you know, but magics can backfire. So yeah, we prefer to be clear. So this we would not normally do this long lines. We'll probably break like this, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the next line we put it starts with so string dot graphemes. So you know. Oh, húngaro. That's, yeah, yeah, truth. Hungarian. So I'm not sure, never saw F sharp, but what this does is basically sends whatever is in the left side, like whatever result is in the left side, on the to the function on the right side, like to as the first parameter on the function to the right side. So this is the same as this. And dot map, blah blah blah, and then string dot graphemes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically the same as Python, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and string dot to integer 1. I guess that's it, right? So these two are the same, but it just kind of reverts the way of execution, right? So it's like the pipe on shell. You said you use shell. So it's like the pipe function in shell. It gets the output from the last command and sends to as the input for the command on the right of the pipe. Yeah, Haskell, never saw Haskell that much too, but yeah, it is a strange language to me, at least. All right, yeah, as you said here, it is the same then. Function combination or just extension sugar? It's just sugar. This this actually in compile time, this is transformed into this. So at compile time, this code changes to this code. So the AST for both should be the same. You can check this way. So do, I think, here. So this is the, oh no. Oh, actually, yeah, it's not going to say that here because that's the quote doesn't actually resolve macros. But anyway, trust me, it is. I can show you that here. So if I search for this, you can see that it is a macro that's implemented on kernel, and here's the implementation of it, which gets the left and the right side, and it calls macro pipe. So yeah, the implementation is this thing here, but oh, it goes unpipe. Interesting. List fold L, which is the map, right? No, it's a reduce, sorry. Okay, back to the actual work because I need to actually fix it before publishing it. And I want to commit that first. AC fixing the implementation. No, actually moving the sponsor link check to hex.scm.update. It was Eric MJ's suggestion. Yeah, that's not true in Elixir or Erlang. It is a sequential execution, pretty much always. There's always ways to do it, like you can create async execution by creating processes that execute your code, like different processes. You probably remember that from Erlang. But anyways, the plain code, as long as you don't start any process explicitly or by calling a function that calls that starts a process explicitly, the thing is going to be synchronous. It's going to be executed sequentially on Elixir. So in a sense, Elixir and Erlang, they're not pure functional programming, right? They are more, they say they are more practical functional programming. Erlang was created with a very specific thing in mind, which is concurrency and fault tolerance for the Ericsson company back then in the 80s. So that's why the Beam works like that. It's pretty cool. Like, I totally recommend to use it on whatever you can. So if you know a monoid list of you can concat 1, 2, 3 in any order, the result will be the same. So compiler can choose the order using this fact. Yeah, I heard that. Like this more pure functional programming, the execution, the line of execution, it can get totally mixed because as you write pure functions, there's never like a function is always going to return the same result as long as you give the same parameters, right? So that's true for some functions in Elixir, but as you can actually have state on processors and on processes and other stuff, it's not true every time. Like for example, one example of this is this fetch here, this code here. Sometimes you call this and it returns true, and sometimes it's not going to return true, right? You can show some function definition with pattern matching in Elixir, or it's not like that. No, yeah, it is like that. So let me show you maybe a function that has pattern matching already. Which one? But anyway, pattern matching is like you can extract head and tail, for example, 1 and 2, right? And functions, you can define anonymous functions like this and break the pattern match like this and transform it in a tuple instead of a map. Let's save that to a variable a and call, oops, do, it's not do, it's end. And a dot, I'm going to pass a list, 1, 2, and that's it. Yeah, you can do that too, like 1 returns 0. Actually, you can do like this, it's better. 1 returns 0, 0 returns 1, and n returns negative n. 1, 0, 0, 1, 123, negative 120. So yeah. Lazy execution. All right, you mean instead of enum, like instead of, if you do this, let me try out something, 1 to 10, enum.map, oops, how can I show up, but I think I got what you meant, is you achieve lazy execution using, instead of enum, the module enum, you use the module stream, the functions on the module stream. That is going to lazily execute. So here's a example here. So the enum map is going to return the new list, is going to map over the list and return the new list. But if you do a stream map, that's going to return a stream, which is basically a function, and then you can enum map, for example. Or so if you do this, if you do this, it's going to return it's going to print 1, 2, 3, and then make it times 2, and then print 2, 4, 6, right? So you just replace enum by stream map, and then convert that stream to a list using enum to list. So it's going to print 1, then because it's going to execute this, and then execute this for each element, and like it's going to execute each map to each element. So do you use Erlang OTP or something more fresh in the hype? No, we use Erlang OTP. There are some kind of wrappers to make it easier to work with, like the gen server is called gen server here. But there are wrappers like task, which is basically a gen server to just execute something and die, and then you can like execute task async and do a task await to get the result of that asynchronous job that got executed on that gen server. There's also this other wrapper here, agent, that is used on that hex state that I was talking about. So the agent is basically a process that you use to store state and not much more, right? So yeah, it still use OTP, but there are some nice tooling on top of it to make it easier to use. Either your eyesight is good or your monitor is huge. It's a 16 inches one. You mean the browser font size or this font size? Because this one I didn't find a way to make it bigger. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to have it so small. But yeah, the agent is the. Oh, now I saw it's Adolfo. Hey Adolfo, thanks for joining. Really, thanks. ORM, it's not an ORM because there are no objects on Elixir, right? But the most used database mapping for Elixir is called Ecto. Hex docs pm Ecto. This is the one that gets installed when you install when you use Phoenix, which is kind of Rails for Elixir. So I heard that it follows more like it works a little bit like the way the ORM for C# works. I'm not sure, I just heard that though. But yeah, nothing like Active Record. So you build queries, you execute queries calling repo, the functions on repo like this. For example, you create schemas, configure. Let me show you one of the functions, one of the queries executed. So yeah, you build queries like this from P impulse. It looks pretty much like SQL, and you just execute the queries calling functions on the repo. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I like it a lot more than Active Record because I had many problems with callback hells and stuff on Active Record. But yeah, I mean, every tool is gonna have the drawbacks, right? So, all right. Back to it. I did push. No, I didn't push. I did commit, but I didn't push. I feel like hire people in Elixir is too hard. Need more IQ than average Ruby dev. Actually, how can I say that without saying that it's actually hard? The company I work for got some problems in the past trying to hire, but I think it's a little bit our fault because we really wanted someone with experience with experience with Elixir first, and then we also added a very high. We had this online test, right? You know, and then the grade, the cut grade for the test was 9, I guess. So you had to guess right 90% of the questions. So I'm not sure. Like I heard other people are hiring like with a totally different process. They don't even do any coding tests, which I find interesting. Not sure how that works though. But one thing I know it works well is having like a test week. We do that in Toggleplant, so that works really well. So yeah, the good news about hiring for Elixir is that most people that are interested in Elixir, they already are high IQ people. Not maybe not high IQ, but at least curious people, you know, because hey, they're searching for another language that like they're just studying for fun sometimes, you know. So these kind of people, I like to work with them, you know, at least that. So that's the good side of having. Yeah, yeah. Normally those are the type of people that use languages like Elixir and I don't know, the others, Crystal, or really not very well used. Like I know that a lot of people just learn JS basically because hey, that's what they're hiring for, you know. So they're just thinking about the money, not the fun or the knowledge they're gonna get. So I can imagine people who don't code outside of work. Yeah, there are. Sometimes in my life, I like to stop. Hey, enough. Like when my son was born. Speaking of that, I just have to talk to my wife to check with her if she's going to get him. Mm, where is? Just saying. Just talking to her, checking if she can get the son at the school. No, she answered me live. Come on. Oh man, that's really embarrassing. Adolfo, you're doing this for a company? No, actually, it's personal time. I just mentioned the company because he mentioned it's uh, kind of hard to maybe kind of hard to hire. So sell me on Elixir was ready actor here from another stream while AFK. So Elixir, it's really cool. No, the thing is, did you heard about a paper called "The Free Lunch is Over"? The free lunch is over from Herb Sutter, I guess. Is it? Basically saying that uh, the amount of transistors we reached kind of a limit on the amount of transistors that we get in the cores, the single cores of our CPUs. So previously in the 2000s, until the 2000s, right? Like in here, 2005, we got kind of reached the limit. As you can see, the clock speed is reached a limit, and we're getting no higher than that, not much higher than that, right? Because the energy consumption for that grows exponentially. So the amount of transistors actually get keeps increasing. But anyways, the clock speed doesn't get better, and basically because of that, we don't have a free lunch anymore, which means that previously programmers in 95-ish they wrote a code, and 5 years later their code was a lot faster, right? But nowadays, we write since 2005, we write a code and our code doesn't get faster through the years. And Elixir has a way to make it faster through the years because it's built on top of the Erlang uh, virtual machine, and the Erlang virtual machine has a way to handle concurrency and parallel execution in a way that makes it kind of first class and easy to manage parallel execution, like basically green threads, kind of, yeah. But yeah, it works differently. But yeah, it's kind of some virtual threads. It has how do they call it? I always forget the technical names. I'm not I'm not really good at that. I like to just do stuff and go on, you know. But right, I remember. It has preemptive scheduling. So the way it works, there's multiple talks on it on YouTube. Let me just YouTube, I guess, from Sasha Yurik. I guess it's solid schedulers, yeah. Solid ground or something like that. There's this solid ground and this one, the soul of Erlang and Elixir. These two talks are very nice. Talks, I guess maybe the soul of Erlang and Elixir is going to be more clarifying in that sense, but the preemptive schedulers, basically we have processes and we start these processes that these are the executors of code. These hold the code that needs to be executed, and you start those and they don't start right away. The schedulers are the ones basically that take that process from a huge list of processes and execute the code for it. But it's a preemptive execution, like OS. It executes a little bit of that process, stops it in the middle, stores it again on the list, and takes another process. So that's the preemptive nature, right? So because of that, you can start, for example, one scheduler for each available core, and you can run multiple threads at the same time. And because of the way that Elixir works and the Erlang machine, virtual machine works by not sharing data between processes, like not sharing the memory between processes, the heap. So yeah, that's pretty much the huge benefit about Elixir. We kind of got to the free lunch again, or at least a little bit, right? So let me see what you were commenting since then. We understand if you have to leave Pikaki the school, not a paper, more like a text for Dr. at Dr. Dobbs. Yeah, I don't know if it's a paper or anything. I mean, that's what people say. No, but sounds terrifying. Not sure what you're saying, but yeah, green threads. I heard about Erlang and what it's good at. Schedulers. Yeah, the thing is, Lunar Sailor, I think some people say, hey, Erlang, it's good for highly concurrent stuff, and this kind of talking, like as if you should only put Erlang and Elixir to the table when you need really something outrageously concurrent, right? But the thing is, most of our code could benefit from that. Like most of the things we do for web development, at least, we could benefit from that, right? Because if you write something today and it gets faster tomorrow because you added more cores on your server machine, that's amazing, right? So, and if the case is that tomorrow, like today, you have 1,000 users concurrently using your system, but tomorrow you could have more. You could just upgrade your system to have more cores, and that's it, right? And even not care much about it. And yeah, that sounds cool. Maybe you get an opportunity to learn sometime. Yeah, sure, do it, please. One of the intention of these live streams is to convince people to actually use it, like the behind the scenes thing is like I really want to spread the word out there. But yeah, I guess I'm not. Let me see if my wife answered me. In here. Usually the bottlenecks is DB anyways. Usually don't need that parallel nature. Yeah, true. You're probably right. Sometimes, most of the times, the DB is the problem, but that's not quite true for Rails, for example, and for other very productive frameworks. Normally, you don't. So, do you want to understand Erlang and its virtual machine, the Beam? You can start by listening to this podcast episode with one of the creators, Erlang, Robert Verding. Oh yeah, Links are blocked, Adolfo, but I think you're mentioning the last episode from Elixir Wizard, right? Is it, Adolfo? Is it Elixir Wizards? All right. Not sure if it's the Elixir Wizards podcast. It's from Smart Logic. Yeah. So, yeah, not the last one, the previous one. The yeah, this one from Robert Vodding and the Roots of Erlang. So I heard he's writing. I guess in this episode he mentioned that he's also writing like the story of Erlang, like why Erlang is the way it is, like why the beam is the way it is. Robert Verding, here the Erlang rationale. So it's a small story of small or big, I don't know, of why things look like the way they look on Erlang, right? Because that really makes you understand, like understanding why makes you question less a little bit about how, and like, you know, not sure if you get me. Anyways, so about on XDB, let me see. So I guess I'm going to just do what I was saying I was gonna do, because here this hack sponsor thing here, I file.console sponsor. Yeah. So what I mentioned before, this get link here is basically checking if this file, the content of this file has, which is read here, has some links in there, but actually this thing here is writing the file to right after I actually check the contents of it, and there's no actual need for that, because I can I can just say, hey, send that manifest there. You know, this is the data I'm going to save the file. There's no reason why saving it to then read the data back, right? So I'm bound to IO there. So what I can do is to say here I'm going to have it back like this. Sponsorship, read metadata, and it's going to probably have package back to what it was before, the package, the deps path, right? Here's the place it calls it, the package, the deps path. So package, the deps path, then the package, then this one. So if I consult, which is going to return the metadata, and the metadata I just send it to straight to sponsorship metadata, and that's going to return the value. What I can do is to metadata, and in here I do this, which is actually I can do it as a case value, because I can do it like this, value new, and then in here I do another case, Oh, sorry for that. It's not, it's the belly. It's the belly. Really. And in here, I just call if it's okay metadata. It kind of happens every live stream. Sorry for that. Because I'm not sure why my belly is like that, but when I drink coffee, it gets really crazy. No end. Actually, error anything. Anything. So here you can call get link. Get link. Right. So what I can do then is to call get link. Instead of calling get link on the dest, I can call get link on the manifest straight. What is file consult actually? Really don't know. Probably not going to have anything there. Oh, what's compiler docs? Okay, terms. Oh, that's scary. Every time I have file OTP docs. OTP. Every time I have to check documentation for OTP, it gets me goosebumps because it's not really there strong. But in Elixir's defense, documentation for Elixir is awesome. Like, it's really awesome. Erlang is in the way there because I heard that the new release for OTP, they kind of are adopting some of the Elixir defaults for documentation. Documentation. Here. Hopefully I find the file. Documentation. File. Consult, I guess. Yeah, this is the function I'm calling there. So reads are long terms separated by dot, and for file name returns one of the following. Okay, terms, error atoms, error. All right, so what I have to do maybe is to actually, because maybe I shouldn't encode it. Repo managers term to binary. Yeah, it's encoding the term to binary. What I want is the reverse of it. Oh, no. I'm totally wrong, actually. No, it's not the file that I want. Never mind, the changes I'm doing here are nonsense. Baby, yeah, I'm going to get him. Good that I was just going nuts here. But anyway, yeah, guys and girls, thanks everyone for watching. I see there are 21 viewers out there. Really thanks Minjar for sticking with me since the beginning. Eduardo, I know you joined me there. Adolfo, thanks for joining here. Lunar Sailor, everyone. Like, I really thank, what's his name? Don't remember. But the ganking there, thanks a lot for sending 119 people, I guess it was, right? Thanks for sending that much people here, whoever you were. But yeah, I guess that's it for today. My contribution is already up there. I did send the pull request, the commit, the new commit to the pull request there. Just one. And I guess I see you on the next live stream. I'm planning to do another one on Friday afternoon, but I can't promise you that. Really. So, see you. Thanks. Thank you so much.